Portal Master 9351 here, and in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Skylanders mobile game, Skylanders Ring of Heroes. Now, as you guys know, the beta ended last night at midnight, I believe. I don't actually know the exact time, but either way, the beta is now over. I put out 6 Let's Play videos, getting about halfway through the story, a little less than halfway through the main story campaign. I really enjoyed playing it. I didn't get to play it as much as I would have hoped to have played it, because unfortunately, I was only able to play it via BlueStacks on my laptop, and I just got back from being at Disney World for the past week. That's why all of those videos were pre-recorded, like the last 4 Let's Play videos were pre-recorded because they were all recorded on the same night before I left for Disney when the heat was out, and it was a nightmare trying to record them, but it was a lot of fun actually getting to play the game, and like I said, I wish I could have played it more. That being said, I have a few things that I'd like to say about this beta, just a little bit of thoughts and opinions on the Skylanders Ring of Heroes beta, because overall, I was impressed. I think there's some things that can be improved upon, and it's not... I wish I could give better feedback, and that's another reason I wish I could have played more for it. Not just because, well, it was fun, but also because, well, I could have given better feedback if I had played it for longer. Nevertheless, here goes. Skylanders Ring of Heroes is hands down the best Skylanders mobile game so far. There's no contest for me that it's the best mobile game so far. Although, that's not saying a lot to say that it is the best mobile game. Prior to Ring of Heroes, you've had games like Cloud Patrol, Battlegrounds, Lost Islands, and Battlecast. And before now, Battlecast was actually the best Skylanders mobile game, at least in my opinion. That is debated. I guess some people might think that other games were better, but honestly, for most people, I would think Battlecast in the past would have been seen as the best Skylanders mobile game to date. But that being said, there's no way on Earth that Ring of Heroes is not better than Battlecast. Ring of Heroes is so much more sophisticated than Battlecast in a laundry list of ways. It's actually a finished game. It's a game that actually has content in it. It's a game that actually is a product, unlike Battlecast, that was a half-baked, unfinished thing from the get-go. Skylanders Battlecast supposedly was going to have a ranked, battle mode and all this competitive. It never got any of that, and the promise of having a competitive scene for Battlecast was what made it interesting to me, at the very least, in the very first place, because if it wasn't for that, then it really would have just been the campaign, and that is all Skylanders Battlecast was. It was a campaign, and then an unranked battle mode where you had to fight unskilled opponents, and there was no real skill to building a deck, because there was pretty much one way to build a deck, or a couple ways you could build a deck, that was pretty much the best thing in the game. It was an unfinished game that never lived up to its fullest potential. Skylanders Ring of Heroes, on the other hand, is a much more finished game, and I know all we played is the beta, and technically, by playing a beta, we're literally saying we're playing an unfinished game. But Skylanders Ring of Heroes, in its beta test, in its open beta, for the very first time playing it, is so much more of a finished game than Skylanders Battlecast ever was. And maybe that's just me not liking Battlecast, but honestly, I think it's more of Ring of Heroes being a good game. It's both Battlecast being unfinished, but also Ring of Heroes actually being a genuinely good game. So I'm really impressed with that concept of Ring of Heroes. The other thing I wanted to talk about Ring of Heroes is the character implementation is great. Now, I know that there's more than 60 Skylanders, and some people are disappointed that their fan favorites were not included in the characters. There were like 10 or 12 characters per element, and not every Skylander made it in there. And some people are like, my favorite Skylander didn't get put in the game! Wah! That's what people are saying right now, and I honestly think that that's kind of dumb. Honestly, I don't really have another word for it. To say that you're complaining because your favorite Skylander is not in the game is kind of a dumb thing to do. And I'm going to say, one thing I really hope that they do with Ring of Heroes, though, is add more characters later on. Because that's what's going to keep this game fresh. That's what's going to keep people coming back to this game. If they continue to add new Skylanders that add exciting new mechanics into the game, I absolutely guarantee that that will make make the game interactive, much more engaging, and get people coming back for more. Now, the way I think it'll run, based on other free-to-play games, is that they'll introduce Skylanders into the game, and you'll probably have to compete in some type of an event to score the most points to get the very first batch of that character. That's based off of playing many other free-to-play games that, like Marvel Contest of Champions and like all kinds of other games that are on mobile that I've had a lot of experience with. Idle mobile games. I've played a lot of mobile games. I've played a lot of mobile games. Let me just say that. And typically that's how they will introduce new characters into those games. And I would see this Ring of Heroes doing something very similar. And I think if they continue to introduce new characters into this game, it'll be great. That's another piece of feedback I have. I love the existing cast of characters, but introducing more is going to help this game continue to stay healthy for the time, for you know, months, years to come if they continue to add new characters. That's just me personally. The combat system is a hot topic for some people, because some people don't like the way combat is, and some people do like the way combat is. And honestly, y'all, the Skylanders Ring of Heroes combat system is much more sophisticated than a lot of other mobile games that are out there. A lot of mobile games these days are purely idle games, where you literally just press the button and your characters fight, and you do absolutely nothing. And yes, there is an auto battle function. However, it's not the only way to play. You can actually play physically tapping your abilities, selecting your abilities before the battle, selecting your Skylanders. There's so much customization in this game. That being said, I do think that it is slightly confusing how the battle system works, and it's overwhelming. And I think that the tutorials and such could be a little bit better introducing the things, because it's like, let me put it this way. I understand that this ability deals this much damage to this enemy and gives you this status effect or whatever. I understand that, but the strategy behind picking every ability to take into battle is quite confusing. And the reason I think that is because there just has not been enough time for people to get accustomed to how everything works and start to break down the strategy of what works well against what. But I think that that is a little overwhelming for new players, and I love the depth and customization present in this game. I really and truly do, but I just think it is a little bit overwhelming and confusing, and I think that there could be a better job of doing that in the future. One other thing I wanted to talk about, though, is the rune system, and I really am enjoying the rune system. At first, when I learned about, oh, you have to pay to upgrade these things, I was like, oh, this is not going to be good at all. It's going to be so grindy and such. And yeah, it is a little bit grindy to try to upgrade the runes and farm the best runes and get enough gold and such, but honestly, I like the system overall. One thing I really wish it included, though, on the rune enhancement screen, where you're trying to pay gold to enhance your runes, is I wish it gave you a percent success gauge. I really and truly do. And maybe the reason that they don't put it on there is because if they had a percent success gauge, it would discourage people from using it, or they get frustrated and say it was unfair. But honestly, I really, really, really wish it was there, because it would give me a better idea of how much it costs to actually upgrade a rune, or how much it's worth to upgrade the rune. I really wish they did that, and if they could implement that, I think that'd be really awesome if they did. But overall, I think the rune system is pretty good. Now, obviously, this game is going to be the type of game that you pick up for 15 minutes every day and play a little bit if you actually want to get good at this game. Now, some people might be used to, if you're like someone who plays console games exclusively, you're like, to play Breath of the Wild and really get an experience from Breath of the Wild, you've got to sit down, and if you want to grind, you just got to keep playing constantly, all the time, to get all the stuff that you need. Well, Ring of Heroes, I don't think is going to be quite like that. I think it's going to be more of a thing where you boot the game up every day, you run through the dungeons, you level up your Skylanders, you do some summons, and then you get off the game. It's not going to be the type of game that you're going to sit at for hours on end. It's not that type of game. And for some people that are non-mobile gamers, I think they're going to struggle to understand that concept. Keep in mind that Skylanders has always been a console game, and I feel like a lot of people are going into this mobile game expecting similar things from the console Skylander games, and that's just unrealistic, because a mobile game and a console game are two entirely different things. That being said, though, people are just going to have to get used to the way you have to grind in a mobile game, and honestly, I think that the Soul Stone collections are actually pretty good, because like the dungeons, for instance, it's very clear on how to get certain characters from these dungeons. And the one thing that I'm still thinking is kind of weird is it's difficult to understand what characters are good and what characters are not as good. And one other thing that's confused me is how some characters, when you summon them, are 1 stars, and some are 2 stars, and some are 4 stars, and that's confusing too. And I wish that it was a little bit more clear on what you're really grinding for with those soul stones, because then there may be a way to view what soul stones summon what characters, but I didn't find it, and I think it needs to be more clear as to what's going on there, because that confused me a little bit as well. The other thing that confused me, and I forgot to mention this earlier, was in the runes page where it gave you like the main stat. It said attack plus 120, and then it would have a dash and say attack 5, and I was thinking that meant minus 5 attack. That's not what it means, and honestly, that was just me being dumb, and you could see that in like the 2nd or 3rd Let's Play video that I did. It was just me being dumb. It wasn't anything on their part. It was just completely in me. But I just think the game is overwhelming. It's complex, but it's slightly overwhelming, and I feel like there needs to be better introductions into this game. And again, maybe it's just me, throwing myself into this game, trying to understand it, and maybe if I wasn't actually trying to commentate over all my actions during the Let's Plays, it would have made a lot more sense, because keep in mind, I did not do a lot of playing that was not on camera, so I didn't get time to explore everything at my own pace. So it may just be I was trying to jump in and explain everything type thing, but honestly I did feel like it was a bit overwhelming, but still complex. But I feel like it's just going to be a matter of time of playing it, figuring everything out, and once I've figured everything out, I feel like the complexity shouldn't be a problem, but for now it is a little difficult. And this is one final thing that I wanted to talk about this game about. It's the pay to win mentality that a lot of people have when it comes to mobile games. Some people are saying that this game is loaded with microtransactions, and there weren't even microtransactions in the beta test. And honestly, as far as mobile games go, this did not actually seem that bad as far as microtransactions were concerned. Obviously, when the game comes out, microtransactions are going to be a big part of the top players. You want to be at the top of the leaderboards? Expect to pay money. Expect to pay money, just like any other mobile game out there. But as far as a free-to-play game that you could pick up and have a lot of fun with without ever spending a single penny, I'm actually really impressed by this game. And again, it's what I said at the very beginning. This is the best Skylanders mobile game to ever be created. And I will firmly defend that point. And if I need to make a separate video explaining that, I totally will. But overall, the Skylanders Ring of Heroes beta impressed me, and I cannot wait for the full launch in August, because that was just a small taste of what is to come with this game, and I can tell that it's going to be a smash hit with a lot of good experiences, and I'm hyped. I am very hyped for this game. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for this video, my thoughts and opinions about Skylanders Ring of Heroes. But now, here's what I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this game. Before the game beta came out, I was asking you guys, were you hyped? Are you liking the looks of this game? And now I have the same question for you guys. Now that you've all gotten to play it, now that you've all gotten to see it, now that you've all gotten to experience Skylanders Ring of Heroes, what are your final thoughts? Are you impressed? Are you disappointed? Do you think there's things they can improve upon? Tell me all of that down in the comments, because they sent out a survey and they wanted to know, but guess what? I want to know that too. I want to know how the Skylanders community feels about this game, so tell me down in the comments. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. This has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to all my patrons on Patreon, especially Liam Corner, The Collector Creepypasta, and Portal Power TV. See you guys next time.